Okay, so since we're talking about managing stress, coping, and self-care, I'm having to really do that right now because I probably have an hour and 15 minutes worth of content created for you all. I always believe in providing activities when I'm doing a presentation because I believe that we learn more by doing. Okay, but again, I'm Kreslyn Kelley-Ellis, and I am the Director of Wellness and Student Support. And our office is in the base on the basement level of the Student Health Center. How many of you know where the Student Health Center is? Okay, and then some of you don't have any experience with it. So we are at 16 Infirmary Drive. If you know where Spicy Rico, the Mexican restaurant is, that's right next door to Murphy's, our building is right there on the corner across from both of them. Okay, so basically in the Student Health Center, I just want to let you know about a few services that we provide. Anytime you see a service with a yellow block around it, know that that service is already paid for with your Student Health Center fee that you paid with your tuition. So mental health services, you can actually go and see a therapist in mental health on the second floor of the Student Health Center, and it's already paid. You don't have to worry about that. Our medical clinics are, of course, they're covered with your insurance or self-pay. This is another yellow block. So my area is paid for with your Student Health Center fee. So you can come and receive wellness coaching, nutrition counseling, case management, any of that kind of stuff. It's already covered. Nutrition counseling, also the Lighthouse program. So some of you said you don't know what the Lighthouse program is. The Lighthouse program is a program that advocates for students who've experienced interpersonal violence, whether it's domestic violence, stalking, harassment, sexual assault. If there is a sexual assault or something that's happened 10 years from now and it's getting in the way of you performing in school, you can still receive services through the Lighthouse program. They get you connected to resources, provide emotional support, and even provide academic accommodations. Okay, we have a sexual health and GYN clinic as well. And so you can come and get that. Also in our wellness area, we have a Plan B program, and we provide Narcan. Okay, so basically our vision for students is a lot different from like when you were growing up and going to your doctor and they're just telling you what's wrong with and what you need. We see you as an active partner. You're young adults, and we believe that you are of the age to be able to make some decisions about your health and well-being. Okay, so you are an active partner in that. Here were the all of the outcomes for today's session. We may get to some of these and we may not, but just know that I'm going to talk to you about managing stress, how to cope when you start feeling overwhelmed, and just give you some strategies for self-care. Now, so all of you are in school to become educators, right? All right, so this is the fun part. So since you're in school to become educators, I want you to know more about our holistic well-being, the 10 dimensions. We don't see you as just a student. We see you as a whole person having a whole experience. And we understand that when people are out of balance in some of these areas of their lives, then it can definitely show up in where you're underperforming in school. And so these are 10 dimensions of wellness that we refer to when we are talking to students. So what I want you to do real quick is I want you, since you were going to be educators, I want you to think about a teacher from your past who seemed to demonstrate optimal well-being. These are the 10 dimensions of well-being. Think about a teacher from your past, don't share any names, who seemed to demonstrate optimal well-being. And then think about which dimensions of wellness you think they were strong in. So just look up there and think about a teacher from your past. We're looking at the 10 dimensions, spiritual, physical, occupational, sexual, emotional, intellectual, environmental. Just think about it and think about the dimensions that you think that instructor was strong in. When you get that, then think about how it influenced their teaching in classroom environment, in classroom climate. You got someone in mind? Everybody got someone in mind? Okay. Now think about the teacher whose well-being you believe needed more support. Which dimensions of wellness you think that were lacking for that instructor? And how might enhancing those dimensions have changed their classroom presence and effectiveness? Think about that instructor. Now what I want you to do is turn and talk to your neighbor about either one of those. One of you can choose the teacher whose well-being needed more support, and the other one can talk about the one who demonstrated optimal well-being. Just turn to your neighbor and just have a discussion about it. Make sure everybody's talking to somebody. If you need to be three, if it needs to be three, it can.
She chooses. His needs, but she knows like she's always so under choice, like which is always nice. I really and that's why
Share. Yes.
I had a teacher in my 10th grade, my 11th grade year. She taught me coaching, but she also taught as a chief that he was really good with one her social aspect. How she was really close with a lot of the other teachers in the school, and then intellectual, she was really smart about multiple things, not just a subject she was teaching.
And then how did that show up? I mean, for you and for your classmates, how important was that to you? And like, how did that really show up in the classroom?
It was really important because I mean, she also made an effort to make personal relationship with each of us. And so like, it made it feel like more like a family that has us. I'm just here to learn. And so it also made information very stay for because it's nice to work connection.
Good. Does anybody want to share about a student that they feel like maybe their well-being needed a little bit more support? Don't share any names, and just talk about the experience and what that looked like in the classroom. Okay.
My 12th grade English teacher, I say he needs to work communication. Because he was stuff like, if you look at three people like have these outbursts, and when he was screaming, he would be, and it low-key made the class feel a little, it's like hostile environment. Because he just didn't know how to control his emotions.
Yeah. And so that's why it's important that even you're thinking about becoming a teacher, that you work on your well-being now. It is an ongoing process. I mean, when you turn 50 or 60, we still have to continue to do the work to be happy, whole, and people who have, who are flourishing. Okay, so what I want to show you now is just how much stress impacts your total well-being. And y'all are here, you're here now. And so I'm sure that you've experienced some levels of stress that you probably did not experience before showing up here at LSU. This is a whole different experience, right? And I want to say this too, that stress is not a negative thing. We all experience it. We all experience stress, and so it can be negative, but it's nothing to be ashamed of because everybody experiences it. It's just about finding the right resources to help you deal with that stress. So we provide the National College Health Assessment to LSU students every 2 years. So these results are from our 2023 assessment. So these were the top factors that your peers say negatively impact their academic performance at school. Number 1 was procrastination. Number 2, 41% of them said stress negatively impacted their academic performance. And then anxiety, chronic medical conditions, depression, sleep difficulties, and then having a cold or a virus. So I'm looking at procrastination as number one. How many of you have procrastinated? How many of you have procrastinated and did not feel stress? Right. So the number of people being impacted by stress is way higher than 41%, right? Because when we wait to the last minute to do things, we are definitely stressed out, right? So we know that 56% that said procrastination, they were also stressed out, right? And so stress is the main culprit when it comes to students not performing. And life is lifing, right? Life is happening, and we all experience life, and we all have stress around things that happen in life. So it is definitely a risk to your performance in school. And so it is important for you to understand that if you take care of your health and well-being, you are in a better position to prioritize your studies, to focus on your studies, to build resilience, to handle stress and challenges better, and just to perform at your very best. So when I Googled, like, what are the top stressors for first year students, all of these things, these words came up. So I just put them in a little cute, sad face. But people who are homesick, roommate issues, when the honeymoon is over, those are things that can really cause stress in the lives of a student. So just to prove to you that everybody experiences stress, I'm gonna name a few scenarios or make a few statements. And if it applies to you, I want you to stand. I have felt overwhelmed by homework or deadlines this semester. And then remain standing. I have stayed up later than I wanted because I was studying or procrastinating. I have eaten a meal or eaten fast food because I didn't have time for a proper meal. You're already standing, you can just raise your hand and say yes. I have felt nervous about making new friends and finding my place at LSU. I have worried about managing money, tuition, or other expenses. I have discovered at least one healthy way to cope with stress, even if it doesn't always work perfectly. All right, so I normally do this thing called the stress spectrum, but this classroom is not quite big enough. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna say, how well are you managing your stress? And the 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, just hold up your finger. Hold up your fingers. How I'm managing my stress very well. These are on a scale of 1 to 10, hold your number up. 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. Okay. Right. So how many of you think that you can use more tools for managing stress? Right. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Uh-oh. So what is stress exactly? So stress is basically your body's response to things that feel very challenging, overwhelming. You know, things happen and you automatically feel a certain emotion. You feel a knot in your stomach. You may just, it affects all of us differently, right? So either way, your body reacts to any kind of change that's really challenging you, either physically, emotionally, or mentally. And so when stress becomes very negative, it becomes distress. It becomes distress. And this is when you feel like this feeling that I'm having, or these thoughts that I'm having, or this emotion that I'm feeling, that's when you feel like it's harmful. That's when you're in a state of distress. And this is these are some of the symptoms of distress. Can anybody relate to any of these symptoms? And you don't have to point to either one of them. Right? Not all stress is bad, but guess what? It still affects your body. So how many of you get hyper excited about something? Like when things are going well, you get hyper excited and then you feel almost like you're having anxiety. Right. So we get stressed when things are, you know, going well. When you got ready to come to college, you were excited, but didn't you feel stressed about it? So we have to be very mindful about how everything is impacting our body and our bodies and stress levels. So eustress is anything that's when something is good is happening, and you can use this stress to motivate you. So here's an example of eustress. So a student feels motivated to study for an upcoming exam using the pressure to stay focused and prepared. But when does that become distress? You know how some of you, ooh, I pulled an all-nighter last night, I waited to the last minute, I aced that test. Anyone in here ever done that? And you had that rush, right? And you felt like being under pressure was your motivation, right? And it was like a good stress to help you reach that goal. But when does that kind of stress turn into distress? Can you continue to do that for every exam? You cannot. So when the exams pile up and deadlines clash or expectations feel unmanageable, that same pressure becomes overwhelming. Think about an athlete who feels excited and energized before a big game or performance, and they channel that adrenaline to really, really perform. When do you think that good stress, that eustress, can turn into distress? Anybody? What about when that he's using that good stress and it's fueling him, but then he makes a bad play, or their team is now losing? That same eustress, positive stress, can easily turn into distress. And so the goal is to be in flow. So when you think about stress, right, you think about what is the level of the challenge I'm facing and what is my level of skills to deal with it. So I see this a lot. I see people just like, I don't care. And it's just because the level of stress has not gotten bad enough. And at the same time, they don't feel like they have the skill to deal with what they're going through right now. Be it the academic skills, the coaching, the coping and stress management skills, social and emotional skills, life skills. That is when it's all out of whack, is when the challenge level, whether it's low or high, if the student does not have the skill, whatever skill is needed, then that's when it can really be detrimental to your academic success and even in your personal life. And so the goal is to be in flow, is to be able to have high skill level, and no matter how high the challenge become, if you have the high skill level, then you're in that period of flow where, yeah, this is a bit challenging, but I feel collected, I feel centered, I feel like I have it. That's the goal. Now, here's one technique I want us just to take a minute and try. So when you're between classes, you haven't eaten, things are kind of out of control, but you know you gotta make it to this class, you just gotta skip the meal. What can you do when you just feel that anxiety rising up? You can breathe. And this is a simple 2, 3, 4 method. You inhale for 4 seconds, you hold your breath for 4 seconds, you exhale for 4 seconds, and you rest for 4 seconds. And it's called box breathing. And so you can like run your finger down can I use your lap? No, I can use this. So you can go inhale, hold, exhale, rest. You can run your finger around your computer. It's just as you remember to do it in 4. Y'all want to try it real quick? Okay, close your eyes. Sit up. Sit up straight, put your back against your chair, your feet on the floor. Close your eyes for a minute and just find the natural rhythm of your breath. Just feel yourself breathing naturally. Okay, find yourself breathing naturally. And so when I say inhale, I'm gonna count to 4. And then when I move to the next part of it, I'm gonna count to 4. And I move to the next part, I'm gonna count to 4. And so we're gonna go through this cycle maybe 3 times, okay? So. Okay, everybody find the natural rhythm of your breath? Okay, inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, exhale out your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, now rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you really want to feel it, then your inhale should sound like this. And your exhale should sound like this. That's how you breathing in the air and you're getting rid of the stress. Okay? So find a natural rhythm of your breath. And we're gonna go through it one more time. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. Out your mouth. 2, 3, 4. And rest. This reduces your level of cortisol. It increases mindfulness. It even lowers blood pressure. It takes the hanks off. And so when you're having those moments, just know that this is a strategy that you can use at any time. Anybody in here familiar with mindfulness or meditation or breathing methods? Yeah, it's very helpful. Also, what I've seen is that a lot of students are grieving. And grieving doesn't necessarily mean that you lost someone to death. A lot of y'all left boyfriends and girlfriends behind. You left friends behind. You left siblings behind. You left what was normal behind to come here and create a new normal. And so the best way to deal with grief is to grieve. And so when you have those moments where you feel like you want to cry because you miss home, you miss your bed, you miss your sense of safety and normalcy, cry. If you're crying and you find that you've been crying for days, schedule an appointment with mental health services. They can help you with that. They can help you with that. So grief is really just an unexpected ending. It's just something happens and it just shakes your world, right? It can be disruptive to your routine. And one of these anticipated disappointments, that is like what could have been. And I tell you, the worst thing you can do to your mental health is to live in a place of woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's okay to say what if, it's okay to say what could have been, but it is not healthy to stay there. So if you feel the need to grieve, then grieve and then get the help that you need to do that. That's the best thing you can do for your mental health. Uh-oh. One of the best things you can do too is when you're not feeling safe, it's the established routines for yourself. Establish good routines for yourself. Okay, use to-do lists, schedule activities during the week, incorporate new or former habits, eat 3 meals a day, eat every 3 or 4 hours, drink at least 64 ounces of water. You all out here burning up a lot of energy walking back and forth on this campus, and you need your energy. Try to eat from all the different food groups, just more than hamburgers and french fries, but eat some of your vegetables, okay? And manage your visual diets, what you're taking in with the eyes, manage this diet, what you're listening to. What we look at, we feed ourselves, even with our eyes and our ears, can often determine the state of our mental well-being. And limit your screen time. These are ways that we can cope, and these are ways that we take care of ourselves. And then this is mindful eating. I'm, for the sake of time, I'm gonna skip over this one. Stay active, even outside of just doing your normal walk into class, exercise, walk through the forest, be intentional about your body loves to move. Our bodies are made to move. So don't sofa rot on the, completely on the weekends. I mean, you do need rest, but make sure that you're getting plenty of exercise. And plenty of sleep. Sleep like a baby. How many of you get 7 to 8 hours of sleep? Good. Y'all, nobody, one person getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep. My goodness, how are you functioning? Like a college student? All right. But you know you can plan, if you plan your time, you can get your sleep. So how many of you keep a calendar? How many of you, so what's on your calendar? Mm-hmm. Okay, and so you do that daily. Very good, very good. Is your eating time on there? Okay. Is your alone time on there? Is your time for calling home and catching up with friends on there? Okay, okay, and so how is your TV time on there? And so, and you're one person that's not getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, right? And so as many things as you know you need to do to take care of you, you need to make sure it's on that calendar. And so one thing you all might want to consider doing is reverse engineering the calendar, starting off with your sleep schedule and then fitting everything else in around it. That's something that we coach and we help with in our office too. Uh-oh. This is something I definitely want to do. I had a couple worksheets and we didn't have time to do, but this is one I definitely want to leave. This is my wheel of emotions. So one of the ways you can really take care of yourself is to check in with yourself emotionally. How many times has someone asked you, what you thinking about, or how you feel? And you, I don't know, a lot. How often you found yourself, somebody asked me like, how you feel about that? How I feel about it. Okay. Or using very elementary language about your emotions, like, I'm mad, I'm scared, I'm happy, right? But what this wheel will do is allow you to go deeper into that emotion. Because we have other emotions that are tied to those very general things. So if you look at the happy part of the wheel, what are some other feelings that are associated with happiness? Everybody get one? Did everybody get one? Yeah. What are some of the other feelings associated with happiness? Very yellow, peachy. Yes. Peaceful. What else? I can hear you. Thankful. Yeah. What else? Joyful. Okay. What are some of the other feelings that are associated with angry? Frustrated. What did I hear? Progressive. Aggressive. Okay. What else? Hostile. Okay. So what I want us to do right now is just to take a minute, breathe, close your eyes, and on a sheet of paper, I want you to write. I want you to ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? And then I want you to ask yourself again, and then again. And you can have a lot of different emotions going on at one time. So write down what comes up for you. Use the wheel to help you with your vocabulary. Was anybody surprised by what came up? Anything that came up? Still writing, I like it. Anybody surprised by any emotion that came up? By asking yourself that question? No? No, no surprises. Yes, I'm often surprised when I sit down long enough to be with myself and say, how do I feel? How do I really feel? I'm often shocked by what comes up. I want to encourage you to do this activity at least once or twice a day. To check in with yourself, to be with yourself and to be there for yourself. Because when in this arena, you're there for everybody. You're meeting deadlines for your professors. Calling mama because she said she hadn't heard from you all week. Your friends from home and saying, hey, don't change on me because you left and all these. There's so many demands on you. You have to check in with yourself. And this is a way to stay aware of where you are emotionally. And also it's it informs you on whether you need to talk to somebody or not. This is the red zone. So I want y'all to just take a picture of this screenshot. You can go back and look at it later. This is 10 safety tips on how to stay safe, basically during football season. What the red zone is the period of time that the most sexual assaults happen on campuses all around the country. And it's from the first day of school, well, when you step foot on the campus until the Thanksgiving break. And it's happening during football season and when there's a lot of drinking and people are free and all those kind of things. And so this is one way we want to take care of ourselves is by having good safety strategies on how to stay safe. And so, yeah, wanted to share that with you. If you have a question, you feel in some kind of way and you don't know where to start, you want to come and talk to somebody at the Student Health Center, just start with wellness coaching. We'll get you connected. If you come to coaching and we really figure out that you really need therapy, it's beyond us, then we can just make a referral and take you upstairs and let you sign up for an appointment and therapy. Okay, but we coach around stress management, sleep hygiene, sexual health, healthy relationships, alcohol and tobacco, nutrition counseling, anger management, holistic well-being, and then we have interpersonal violence in the Lighthouse program. All of those are under the wellness and student support. Now, this is the last thing you'll do, and you can probably do this in your free time because I know that you all have a lot coming up. Will somebody pass these out for me? Will you pass these out for me? So what I want you to do, okay. I'm gonna show you this screen, so you might want to take a picture of this screen and then take a picture of the next one. So this again is the wellness wheel. Got that one? Okay. Got that one. Then I want you to use that, and you don't have to do that now because I'm gonna wrap up the presentation. This form, I want you to do it later. And basically what you're gonna do, you're gonna reflect on everything that you've learned today and how stress impacts you. And you wanna apply coping and self-care strategies. So with this worksheet, you'll end up identifying one dimension. These are all dimensions. So you should have a picture of 5 here and 5 on the other page. One dimension where stress currently impacts your academic performance and or concentration. Write down one coping or self-care strategy you could use in that arena. And then circle or mark dimensions where you feel you need more support, or write one student health center resource that could help you. So that's what you can do later, all right? And then if you want to share, be accountable to somebody like a friend or something beyond today, then share this with them and maybe do the activity with them and look for that peer support.
You look good, fine.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Okay.
Right. Everybody got it? All right, and follow us on Instagram. If you're on our Instagram, we do a lot of great activities in the community, out in the LSU community. We have an open haunted house coming up October. And it's just one way to keep up with us and all the things that we do out in the community.